main storylines coming out of Nashville during the SEC Media Days will be about the quarterbacks. At Georgia and Alabama, the quarterback situation. Also, the Pac-12 situation is very dire, according to Brock Huard. Welcome to episode 269 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's first get to Barrett Sallee, SEC Media Day, CBS Sports, Alabama, Georgia, addressing quarterback questions among the storylines to watch. Nashville, we will provide a link in the description for you to read the whole article. The 4-day circus starts today, Monday. SEC Media Days will take place in Nashville for the first time this week, when all 14 teams will make the rounds at the Grand Hyatt, just steps off Broadway. Talking season, as coined by the legendary head ball coach Steve Spurrier, will consist of several storylines that will dominate the college football landscape leading up to the 2023 season and throughout the fall. All eyes will be on the two superpowers in the conference. I also think all eyes will be on LSU. But back to the article. Georgia coach Kirby Smart is on the quest to lead his team to a three-peat. Something that hasn't happened since, well, my beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers pulled off defeat 1934, 35, and 36. But who's counting? Who is the most likely coach to knock him off that perch? Alabama's Nick Saban, of course. Saban's Crimson Tide fell to reach the SEC championship game in 2022 for the first time since 2019, and they have plenty of questions heading in to the opener. I agree. The two new head coaches will make their first appearance in Music City. First-year Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze came from Liberty, big pickup from Auburn, who was no stranger to this event after spending 5 years at Ole Miss. He will hit the stages on Tuesday to discuss how he plans to rebuild a program that was devastated by the ill-fated 2-year Brian Harsin experiment. That afternoon, first-year Mississippi State head coach Zach Arnett will discuss his vision of a Bulldogs program that suffered a devastating loss last winter when legendary coach Mike Leach passed away. What are the top storylines? Let's break them down. Who will step up at quarterback at Georgia? The 2-year starter, 2-time national champion, 2022 Heisman Trophy finalist, and all-around legend Stetson Bennett IV won't be taking the snaps this year. Junior Carson Beck and sophomore Brock Vandagriff are the two primary options atop the depth chart for Smart and his Georgia Bulldogs. It appears that Beck has the upper hand, at least for now, to land atop the depth chart when toe meets leather on the UT Martin at September 2nd. Beck threw for 310 yards and 4 touchdowns as Bennett's primary backup last season and took most of the first-team snaps in the spring. However, Vandagriff was a 4-star prospect and the number 34 overall player in the class of 2021 and has the talent to be a star. Neither quarterback will be in attendance in Nashville, so it will be up to tight end Brock Bowers and defensive back Kamari Lassiter and offensive lineman Cedric Van Pran to answer those questions, representing the 2-time national champions Georgia Bulldogs. So neither quarterback will be in attendance at Nashville. What's up with the West? I think LSU is going to play a major storyline in the SEC this year. They got to the SEC championship game last year against Georgia. I think they're going to do the exact same thing this year. I think they're going to trip up Alabama. Back to the article. LSU came out of nowhere to win the division in Brian Kelly's first season at the helm, and that season included a thrilling overtime win over Alabama. Was that a one-year aberration, or is it the power structure shifting in what has generally been regarded as the toughest division in the sport? That answer hinges on the Alabama quarterback situation. Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe squared off in spring camp, and Saban lured Notre Dame signal caller Tyler Buchner to Alabama in the second transfer portal window. Was the push for Buchner a sign that things aren't rosy for Saban? I think so. Maybe. What we do know is that Kelly has a stud in dual threat quarterback Jaden Daniels, which should make the Tigers offense tough to keep up with. You can read the whole article in the description. We'll provide a link. The storylines for the SEC Media Days centers around the quarterback situation at Georgia and at Alabama. I think things are a little bit more dicey at Alabama. I'm not a firm believer in Simpson, Milroe, and Tyler Buchner. I don't think that's going to work either. The transfer from Notre Dame, what it doesn't say in this article is Tommy Rees, the new offensive coordinator from Alabama coming from Notre Dame. I think that was a questionable hire from Nick Saban. I don't think Alabama's going to make the SEC championship game once again. The storylines in the SEC Media Days. The two perennial powers, Georgia and Alabama. Questions at quarterback. And there is LSU. Brian Kelly waiting in the weeds again to get Alabama to get to the championship game in the SEC against Georgia. Their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, there is no question marks about him except for maybe they got to keep him healthy. He was nicked up last year. If they keep him healthy, LSU will challenge Georgia for the SEC championship game once again in 2023. Put down your comments, your thoughts in the comment section below the video. Let me know how wrong I am. It's going to be Alabama. Is it really going to be Alabama? Because we at PATC, we think we see a little bit of an Alabama slippage coming up. Now, let's get to the story. From Heartland, Pete Mundo, Brock Huard calls the Pac-12 situation. The Pac-12 TV situation very dire. The college football world is awaiting the next move for the Pac-12 conference, as the entire sport is waiting to see what kind of TV contract offer the league may ultimately land. That will determine the future of the conference and ultimately the sport. On Friday, during his radio show in Seattle, Fox Sports analyst Brock Huard spoke about this on the Brock and Salk and called the situation very dire for the Pac-12 conference. He went on to say, quote, "These universities, these campuses broke the trust of these networks by not showing up, by not caring. And frankly, in some of the places like Palo Alto and Berkeley, they rather not have football. Upper campus and some of the leadership don't even need football. And once you've broken that trust, and these networks who pay all the money, they do all the work, they've got all their advertisers, they need the numbers, we've got to have eyeballs. And they tune in to watch Cal Berkeley, and there is Marshawn Lynch on the sidelines going, where the bleep is everybody?" And finally, Huard then goes to call out Stanford, saying that Jim Harbaugh can be at Stanford with Andrew Luck and not fill your stadium up. He goes on to mention UCLA as an example of another university and fan base that has not held up to its end of the bargain, even with Chip Kelly. Huard adds in the commentary saying, "And why do you think Fox is like, we're out? We'll go to Ames, Manhattan, Lubbock, where they care. You don't care out west." And unfortunately, George Kliavkoff is feeling the weight of that. Again, as we've been saying here at Peek Around the Corner, since February 24th, we believe the odds are stacked against the Pac-12, that the Big 12 will be able to poach one or more Pac-12 schools. And the reason is this: Pac-12 country doesn't watch Pac-12 football. And the networks are starting to shut this idea down of a one-region conference out on the Pacific coast. It's as simple as that. The story has always been, can the Pac-12 get a media deal that can satisfy all 10 presidents to sign the grant of rights, to sign on the dotted line? We don't think so at Peek Around the Corner, but we shall see. I think the end game is coming up very soon. Again, none of the Pac-12 schools want to leave each other. They want to stay together. We understand the history of the Pac-12. We all understand that these large research universities want to stay together, but reality has hit. And I think a lot of people are starting to catch on here in this late date in middle of July. So stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner as we continue to cover the Pac-12 saga, as they're going to have their Pac-12 Media Day this Friday, July 21st. Earlier this week, starting today, is the SEC Media Days, the 4-day circus. I think there's going to be some drama. I think there's going to be some people saying some stuff. Some elbows are going to be thrown. I don't think it's going to be completely clean and sanitized. It's the SEC, for goodness sake. The best football conference in the country. The circus has started. Stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner as we cover the whole 4-day event. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.